Shelly.
Hey, why do we have to do the camera thing?
Because you'll get used to it. Just,
Okay.
all right, but you look very nice.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you
do you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Ah.
This is my first podcast, and I'm glad to have Shelly with me here. We met each other at work. We often have conversations about the modern workplace. There's a lot of frustration and anxiety that seems to be created, that seems to have become the norm.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've got a lot of thoughts about that, right?
I do.
You did. How you were suddenly thrust back into having to find a job and having to learn a profession. And I know from having worked with you that you've been very successful at it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like you to share some of that experience.
Where do I start?
Well, I know that you lost your husband tragically during the COVID area.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what sort of put your life into a tailspin.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
So,
do you want to know the moment that happened and the moment I thought in my head, oh hell, what the fuck am I going to do?
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, but I have to start with before he passed. He was telling me that he was feeling gout.
Okay.
Like in his foot. And I said, well, it's a weekday, it's Thursday, you can go to the doctor, why don't you just call the doctor or go to the Minute Clinic? And he wouldn't go. I was angry with my husband because he wouldn't go to the doctor. We fought, but of course, not fight like you would think, disagreement. And
you were cross with each other.
Yeah. And I could just, gaze at him and he looked at my way and he says, I'm so in love with you. I knew my husband was so in love with me.
Okay.
We're both so in love with each other. And even if we fought, we'll get over it.
Uh-huh.
Learn from it, work through it, and move on. So he comes in the kitchen and, I don't know, he probably said boo or something. And, I kind of yelled at him and said, what are you trying to do? Give me a heart attack? And I was very angry that he did that because I don't like to get spooked, but he always did it. So, I did what I was doing, and he said, I'm going to unload the dishwasher for you. And I was like, okay. So I went into the living room to finish watching whatever it was, the news. And he came across around the corner and said, I can't breathe. He was panicked. And that was the first time I ever saw my husband scared.
Really?
Which scared me. Yeah. And I didn't know if he was having a heart attack. I didn't know what was happening. I kept asking him, do you get in the car? Do you want to go to the emergency room? What do you want me to do? And finally I looked at him and I said, do you want me to call 911? And when he said yes, I knew. And I said, is it your heart? And he says, no, I just can't breathe. And my daughter ran next door and got our neighbor, which was a nurse, and she came over. And I really don't remember a lot after that. I know that I called 911 and they were on their way, but they didn't make it.
They didn't make it in time.
He took his last breath with me.
Okay.
And he did pass, like I told you, in my arms, my hands, in my, right there. Because that showed me when everybody says that your loved one passed away and everybody was around and peacefully, I didn't see peace in his death. One of the nurses that was there when he arrived and the whole time and was with my daughter and I, and as I was walking out, because I was lost, and she said, I want to give you some peace that it looks like he died of a pulmonary embolism and there would be nothing anybody could do. And I'm glad that I had the support that I did, which was my friends.
The prayer group.
I had a group of ladies there in Houston, very close friends that came together like women should, and I had a village.
And you needed one.
I needed that village. It was his time.
Yeah.
Just wasn't my time.
Well put. Okay, so how long did it take you to get on your feet?
I'm still trying to get on my feet. It came in stages, and I'm glad that it came in stages. The first 2 years of his passing, I wasn't I was here, but I wasn't here, if that makes sense. So it has been 4 years, but that's where I started working, where I'm working now. It was trying to figure out where I needed to go. I still had Ellie at home, and I knew that I couldn't stay in Houston where we were. I couldn't, it's not that I couldn't, I think I was fearful, and I wanted to have family.
Sure.
And so Ellie and I packed up the house and we moved to Corpus Christi, where my family is.
Your mom.
My mother and my sister. I'm driven by a different passion that I don't think anybody has unless they go through what I've gone through. I just keep going. You just keep going.
So here's this young lady who can't stop, who's going to keep on going. So what'd you do? After being a stay-at-home mom.
So I took some time to heal, which I thought I was healing. And I finally settled back in Corpus and got a job at a Volkswagen dealership.
That was your first job back?
That was my first job back into the corporate world. But it made me feel good because I hadn't worked in any paying job capacity for the last, 14 years. So I did that for probably about 5 months. And I knew that I was not gaining any ground. You get a draw, you sell a couple of cars, they take your draw, they give you your little commission. The cycle just kept repeating, and I was never getting ahead. So I decided to leave Corpus Christi and come to San Antonio with a company here. And that is where we met.
That's where we met.
And
it's not so easy to look online and find a job that pays a lot of money, is it?
no, I think a lot of people are having that issue because they're not treating their employees. We're just, what do I call us? I'm the peasant.
And this whole emphasis lately has been on productivity, where they count the number of calls that you do every day, and they count the number of minutes that you're on outgoing calls, talking to customers. How does that seem to you? Is that a good policy to require that of the salespeople?
Randall.
What do you really think?
I think that it could be a good policy, but then I think you need to gauge it on your producers. I'm not going to slack because you're not breathing down my neck to make these calls. I'm going to continue because I have to provide for my family because I know how I need to make money. And so I think their metrics, it has its place. I think I would be digging deeper into my larger account and just solely focusing there. And maybe, in the afternoon, I'll go into those other accounts and talk to them.
If they would just let you deal with your own process of getting things done in your book of business, instead of trying to micromanage or dictate how you spend every single hour.
Right.
That you'd probably be a lot more productive.
I would be more productive, and I would be able to take care of my customers and the accounts that I have better than what I am doing. I feel like I am breadcrumbing my customers. Oh, I'll get to you when it comes to a large project. And it's like, I don't have time for that large project because I have this other metric over here that I have to meet, even though I still have to meet all of this metric. But where I am right now with the company, and it's a joke, is don't worry about revenue, Shelly. Just worry about your dials and minutes.
No, it's just, that's why I say your companies do really weird stuff.
They do. And so, of course, Shelly goes into, I think we're in ultra mode. I don't even know what mode I'm in.
Your anxiety comes from
a lot from within me.
Yeah. It's your own
it
personal
might be
expectations.
it might be my whole personality,
Yeah.
and I
You
probably
want to do a good job.
yeah,
That's the way you're built.
that's who I am.
All right. Well, we're going to have more podcasts, I hope.
Yeah,
Did you enjoy this?
yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.